Battleworlds Outbreak.
Okay, we are doing another Abomination match. We're going to be doing the sparring format. The sparring format consists of 40 card decks, typically 30 card main deck that will go here, and about 10 card react pile that will go there. You have 60 life in the sparring format, you and your opponent. The goal is to take your opponent's life down to 0. You draw 7 cards at the beginning of the turn. You draw 1 card at the beginning of each turn after. 7 cards on your first turn, 1 card in each turn thereafter. On every turn, you get 4 action points. And on the cards, you can tell that in the top left, there's a number. That number is the card's tier and how many action points it costs. So, for example, if it was my turn, I would play actions, and this is a tier 2 action, so it costs 2 action points. And my opponent would have 4 action points as well. So I might play an axe kick action, and then my opponent would have the opportunity to play a reaction. My opponent's not going to play a reaction in this phase. And then I have the opportunity to modify. So I might modify with this repeated body shots, which will then be another action point. And then since my opponent didn't play a reaction, they don't have the opportunity to modify. Then we would close out this action phase. So this card does 3 damage. And this modify doesn't modify this particular action phase, but what it does is when it's in the skill zone, if I have 5 memory skill, it makes when I play a card directly from my deck, it will deal 3 extra damage. So at the end of the action phase, the cards will be sent to either the combo or skill zone, your choice, instead of the discard pile. So I would send this axe kick to my combo zone, and on the bottom left you can see it says what the combo is, and then I would send this to my skill zone, and on the bottom right it says what the skill is. This way, the number that's closest to the battlefield is always the number you're going to be looking at, and it is also set up so that we could stack cards. So then I could stack these, easily add them up and be able to tell what types they are. So I still have 1 action point. So in this situation, I might do a front kick, spending my last action point, and then my opponent might play a no style like my style. So as you can tell, this is a tier 5 card. It actually costs 5 action points. So you are allowed to go over your 4 action point limit, but the moment you go over your 4 action points, your opponent gets to immediately draw a card. And whenever you draw a card, you can choose to draw from the react pile or the main deck. So since they went over, I would immediately be able to draw a card, and then they would have spent all their action points, and then I have the chance to modify. Now, you have to have an action point available to be able to play an action or a reaction, but you can always modify a played action or reaction regardless of if you have any action points available. So I might modify this with, say, another repeated body shots. This though still costs 1 action point, so it would put me over the 4 action point threshold, allowing my opponent to draw a card. So then whenever we resolve cards, we always resolve backwards. So it would be I played an action, my opponent plays a reaction, I play a modify, my opponent plays a modify. So we would resolve my opponent's modify, my opponent's reaction, and then my action. So this repeated body shots isn't going to affect the action phase. The counter is going to stop my attack from doing any damage and allow my opponent to play a tier 2 or lower Muay Thai action from their deck then start a new action phase after this, and so my action will do no damage. So then we will send these cards to our zones. I'm going to send this to my skill zone. Now the repeated body shots is a unique skill zone ability, which means that I can't have 2 of the same ability in my skill zone at the same time. So this card won't be able to go to my skill zone, but it can go to my combo zone, and then my opponent can send any cards they play to their zones. So they might send this to their combo zone, and then because this counter, they can immediately play a tier 2 or lower Muay Thai action from the deck. So then they would play a reverse roundhouse. Reverse roundhouse is a committed card that says if your opponent plays a reaction in response to it, it's going to be sent to the discard pile instead of a zone at the end of the action phase. If your opponent did not play a reaction in response to it, it gains something extra. So this card will deal 4 extra damage. Since I'm not going to play a reaction, I have no action points to play a reaction. It's a base damage of 3, so it's doing 7. And then you also always add your combo count to your damage. So my opponent currently has 1 combo, so they would add that to the 7, so they'll be coming at me for 8 damage. And the last caveat is every increment of 5 damage that you do to an opponent forces that opponent to send a card from their combo zone to the discard pile. So since they did 8 damage to me, I would then have to send 1 card from my combo zone to the discard pile. So I might send this repeated body shots to my discard pile, and that's going to in this action phase, they would get to send this to their combo zone, and this turn would be over, and that'd essentially be the first turn in a match. So that gives you a little bit of a rundown of the rules and how the game's played. So now we're going to do an actual match against the Abomination and show you some gameplay. As I said, in the sparring league, we each have 60 life. We each have 4 action points a turn. Now, you can use d6s to help keep track of things, or any dice, but to really keep track of the action points, you don't really need dice. It's just sometimes helps, and it helps with the visual effects, I think, for this. And so at the beginning of the game, typically I'll do 4 cards from my main deck, and 3 cards from my react pile. Now, for the Abomination is an NPC, and there are Abomination specific cards that can't be put in regular decks, but you'll be able to make Abomination decks with. This is the Abomination's action pile and the Abomination reaction pile. On the Abomination's turns, they will flip over the top card of their action pile and play until they run out of action points. And on my turn, they will flip over the top card of their reaction pile in response to any actions I play until they run out of points, or until I run out of points or actions to play. Typically, when I'm doing an Abomination, I always have the Abomination go first. So let's flip over the first card. We have a Jagged Hide, so they're spending 2 action points. They're coming at me for 5 damage. I'm not going to play a reaction response. I'm just going to take the 5 damage, and then this will be, and then at the end of the action phase, this will be sent to their combo zone. As you can tell, the Abomination cards don't have any skill count. They only have combo count. The Abomination are mindless beasts. They aren't using skill in their fights. They're just using combo. They're just trying to kill you as best they can mindlessly, as a beast might, fighting for survival. So we're going to send this to the combo zone, and we'll flip over the next card. So this is a tier 5. So this will go over their action points, allowing me to immediately draw a card, which I'll draw from my react pile. Alright, so actually this is really bad. This is committed, so if no reaction was played in response to it, it's going to allow the Abomination to get 2 more action points after this phase. If a reaction was played, it will go to the discard pile instead of a zone. I don't have anything currently to respond to a tier 5 card, so they are going to hit me for 12 plus their combo of 1, so for 13. So I'll take 13, going down to 42. This will go to their combo zone, and then they would gain 2 action points back, allowing the Abomination to continue its assault. Then they would spend these 2 action points on an enhanced circulation. It does 3. They now have a combo count of 4, so it's coming at me for 7 damage. I cannot keep taking damage, so I'm going to do a no style like my style. I actually can't do that. So this says it reacts to a tier 3 or lower physical action. Enhanced circulation is actually an energy action, so I cannot play that, which means that I don't have anything to respond to it. So I am going to take the 7 damage, going down to 35. Okay, we will send this to the Abomination's action or combo zone, and then we're in the turn, going to my turn. All right. That was a series of unfortunate events. I'm going to draw a card from my react pile. Then I'm going to do a front kick. So we'll flip over the react pile. So this is a reflexive swat. It is going to react to tier 2 or lower action. This is tier 1. It will retaliate, allowing the Abomination to play the top card of their action point deck after this action phase, and taking damage will not cause the Abomination to send any cards from their zone to the discard pile, but they will still take damage, so they're going to take 3 damage, going to 57. Then we will close this out, so I'll send this to my skill zone. They will send this to their combo zone. The Abomination gets to immediately and freely play the top card. It's a tier 5 regrown appendages. The Abomination's combo count is at 6. This does a base of 7, so they're coming at me for 13 damage. Alright, I still don't have anything to do against tier 5. Interesting. Take 13, going down to 22. Since they did 2 increments of 5, I'd have to send 2 cards to my combo zone. Since I have no cards in my combo zone, I have to send cards to my skill zone, so I'll send this from my skill zone to the discard pile. This will go to their zone, and it's still my turn. Alright, so this time I'm going to do a pushed back, spending exactly 3. Pushback is a signature action, so you can only play it once a turn, and it has onslaught, which means I immediately start a new action phase, and I can play a tier 2 low Muay Thai foot action from my deck. I'm going to play an axe kick from my deck. My opponent gets the opportunity to react. so they will spend all 3 of their action points on a copper scales. It blocks 9 and has demoralize 1, which is if they take no damage as a result of this block reaction, then the opponent has to send 1 card from one of their zones to the discard pile. Axe Kick does 3, they block 9, I do no damage, they will demoralize me. I have to send a card from my zone to the discard pile. I have no cards in my zone, so we'll close out this action phase. I will send this to my combo zone, they'll send this to their combo zone, and then pushback is coming through still. They have no action points to react, so they will not play a reaction. I will do a you're not ready for this, going over my action points, allowing the Abomination to draw. Whenever the Abomination draws, you send the top card of their action pile to the combo zone. So we're going to send this to their combo zone. And then pushback does 2 damage. My combo is 2, so I'm going to do 4 damage to the Abomination, bringing the Abomination down to 53. And then we'll send these cards to my zones. I'm going to send these 2 over here, and then that will end my turn. Go back to 4, it's Abomination's turn to play an action. So enhanced circulation, spending 2. The Abomination is currently at 12 combo, and it has 3 damage on here, so it's coming at me for 15. I'm gonna go over with a no style like my style, allowing the Abomination to draw. Then we'll close out this phase. Well, actually, I'm going to do another you're not ready for this. My Abomination already got the draw. Then we're gonna close this out. I'm gonna send this over here, and I'm gonna send this no skill like my skill actually to my skill zone, and then this is gonna go to their combo zone, and then I can freely play a tier 2 or lower Muay Thai action from my deck. I'm going to come through with an Axe Kick. My opponent still has action points, so they can react. Alright, did you see that? It's gonna spend 3 going over. I'm gonna actually draw a card from my react pile in response, and it's a Beast Deflect, so it is against a tier 4 or lower. Deflects make it so we both reveal the top card of our deck. Whoever reveals the card with the highest tier wins. So I have a tier 2 and my opponent has a tier 2. Since my opponent did not get a card that was higher than me, then they do not win the deflect. But it is a Beast Deflect that says if the revealed card was a beast, you send it to the combo zone instead of returning it to the top of deck. So this is going to go to the combo zone. This is going to return to the top of my deck. I will hit for my combo is 7, and this does 3 damage, so for 10 damage. And it was 2 increments of 5, so my opponent has to send 2 cards from their combo zone to the discard pile. And then we were sending these to our zone, so I'm going to send this to my skill zone, send this to the Abomination's combo zone. That was the end of the Abomination's turn, because the Abomination attacked me at the beginning and I countered. So go to my turn, I'll draw 1 from my main deck. I do not have any cards that I want to play. So if you do not have any cards that you want to play in your turn, if you play 0 cards, you can pass your turn and draw 1 card. So I'm going to pass my turn and draw 1 card from my main deck. Then it'll go to the Abomination's turn. The Abomination's at 11 combo currently. We'll flip over the top card of the deck. So it's an awkward landing, spending all 4 of their action points. Coming at me for 26. That is awkward. The only thing that I have is a retaliate, which would mean I would still take the damage. So what I'm going to do actually real quick, so I'm going to pop one of these. I'm going to use 2 Muay Thai skill to gain 2 action points and draw 2 cards. I'm going to draw 2 cards from here. Alright, yep. Neither of those helped me. The beginning of the match, when the Abomination just hammered me right off the bat, really did not give me much of an ability to come back. Alright, well, that is death. Okay, I died super quick in that one. I probably still will showcase this because I want to show an example of, you know, sometimes it's just not in the cards. I do appreciate you for watching this short video. Please like and subscribe. Go over to battleworldsoutbreak.com or bwoutbreak.com to check out more. We have a Patreon, and I am currently trying to get some print and plays together. So as soon as I have some print and plays together, I will let you know. Please go download those, print them off, and play. That would be awesome. Send me feedback right in the comments. Really appreciate everyone who's here, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.